This is one of the finest landmarks of history in Lahore city, the Wazir Khan Mosque. And you have been to many countries, especially you like Lebanon the most.
That's right.
And how do you compare Pakistan's architecture, Pakistan's living, and Pakistan's atmosphere, liberal atmosphere? How would you compare it with the other countries?
I would say probably like from a regional perspective, Pakistan and some of the other countries kind of in the greater region, you mentioned Lebanon as an example, I find that this kind of section of the world, when it comes to the atmosphere, you get a lot of welcoming people. You know, everyone's, when they meet a guest coming into their country, they're super hospitable. They want to show you around. They want to take you to explore some of the best landmarks. And I find this to be something that is really unique both to Pakistan as well as some of the surrounding countries here. And in terms of the architecture, I would say, I mean, Pakistan's got a vast difference of architecture when you think of the architecture up in Hunza or Skardu, and then you think of Karachi. You know, you have your modern developments in certain areas around Karachi, Lahore, and then you have some of your really traditional architecture here that offers just a look into so much culture. We were just talking about
the ornamental writings and
exactly the Persian influence.
The use of colors.
Yeah, yeah. And the Persian influence here mixed in, I see similarities. That's what I find really cool, is you can find Pakistan's unique portrayal of their architecture, and then you have the Shah, the Persian Shah, that has their own influence built into the architecture behind us.
You have been to so many Muslim countries. You have been to Saudi Arabia, you have been to Lebanon and many Middle Eastern countries.
That's right.
And somehow in West there is a perception that these people are very militant, they are extremists. How do you look at this perspective?
I think,
especially about Pakistan.
You know, I think before I started traveling, I only ever consumed news, movies, and these give you an idea of what you can expect in places. And then once I traveled, I think the first Middle Eastern or North African Middle Eastern country I went to was Egypt. And this changed everything for me because I saw a different side of the country, that being Egypt, much different than I had imagined it to be like. And so it kind of inspired me to visit more countries all around the Middle Eastern area, as well as into Pakistan and in Asia here. And during that time, I just kept finding so many differences in between what I imagined it to be versus the reality. And I think the world is portrayed mainly through movies and then also through top news stories, as I was saying. And so when you put those two together, that creates someone's perception. That's what they imagine it to be like.
You are trying to change the perception?
That's my number one goal in the whole media business, is to, that's how I create my videos. I just made one on Iran, and I showed the first few minutes of what people thought it was like. News clips, how intense it was, all of these different components that give people this fear of the country. And then I showed my personal journey, meeting locals, experiencing the culture, the food, the places to visit, and just day-to-day interactions with the people that are the ones who create the entire Iranian culture. That was my most recent video.
You are trying to make something like that for Pakistan as well?
For Pakistan. That's my goal right now. And as we walk around, I make sure to take the time and talk to people that come up to me. And you didn't see this, but in between when I saw you in those 10 minutes, a nice gentleman came and gifted me this ring. And I made sure to get him on camera because I want to show people that would never happen in America. Nobody would come up to me and say, hey, I've got a gift ring for you. That wouldn't, but that would happen in Pakistan. And these small little moments are what I try and share with the world, because these small moments are what change people's perceptions, and these small moments are what change people's idea that it's not some, you know, once in a long time when a terrorist act happens in the country. Some people only know Pakistan as that. And I want to show these small moments, as little as that, or moments when we get to talk and walk through these narrow little alleyways. These moments will change how people imagine a place to be because we give them a new idea to imagine.
What about the extremism and the perception there that every time in Pakistan there is a bomb, there is a threat?
Yeah, the reality is a lot of people hear one story per year. Maybe that's it, one story every couple of years, however often it is. And if we don't create an alternative media, so we have news, which is covering that already, and then we have alternative media, which is social media, which is our conversations here. This is giving another angle of the story. My dad's always said, there's three sides of the story. Your side of the story, my side of the story, and then the truth. Yeah.
अंदरूनी लाहौर में सियाहों के लिए रंगीला रिक्शा भी चलाया गया है।
लोड़ दियां शानां ते लोड़ दियां बातां चल चलिए उत्थे जिथे विकदे पावे ते खातां।
He is saying Lahore is such a glorious city that there you eat very, very nice foods.
The best.
सुहेल इस शहर दे रौनकां तैनूं की दसीए ਜਦੋਂ तू आवे इत्थे पावन लोकी हार ते मालां।
Wow. He is saying, look, Suhail, what glory I can tell you about Lahore. When you come here, people will give garlands to you.
Shukriya. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All aboard. Chale chalo. Chale chalo Lahore.
Very good.
Here we go.
Zabardast.
Zabardast.
Yes. Look, I am your follower. I have visited just 51 countries. How many countries have you traveled?
Just a few more than you. That's amazing how well traveled you are. I'm at 67.
And your big brother, how much has he traveled?
My brother is at, I think, 85 countries.
Oh.
Yeah.
And your father?
My father, I think he's at maybe 30 countries. Yeah. My dad did a lot of United States traveling when I was growing up.
You use your name on Instagram as nomad. What does it mean?
So, nomad is, I'm a world nomad, traveling around the world,
Okay,
living.
you are a Banjara.
Banjara.
We call it in Urdu, it is called Banjara.
You can call me World Banjara.
Banjara. Back Banjara.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what is your concept of beauty? Wherever you go, you must be liking their beauty, the human beauty, the female beauty. What is your concept?
Beauty, it lies within the eye of the beholder.
But still, what eyes looks for?
And what do I look for? I would say, what I look for is the souls of people. Traveling
Not the face of the people.
The face is just one attribute, but
Or the face is the window of the soul.
I would say the best way to say it is my stepsister, which is my father's new wife, her daughter's blind, and she sees people only by their soul.
Okay.
And the soul shows the most beautiful part of the person. And when you visit a place and you experience the local people, you get to interact with them and you get to feel what their soul's like.
Why have you liked Lebanese beauty? Because you have married.
Well, it's
with a
inside and
Lebanese-
out there.
No, actually, Lebanon and Lebanese beauty is considered to be best in the Asia.
That is true. Well, in this case, Lebanese beauty is on the inside and on the outside.
Okay.
Yeah. So that answers your question.
Okay, the travelers had different experiences, sometimes strange, sometimes shocking, sometimes sweet. What was your most shocking experience?
When I went to Iraq, I had very little experience traveling around the Middle Eastern region. And Iraq was freshly out of the war that the United States was involved in quite a few years back, the earlier days when I was growing up. And so being an American was a very scary idea for me to go visit Iraq. I never thought I'd be able to go there. And visiting there and finding just a completely difference of what it was like was super shocking for me. I had expected something completely different. Satsuriakal. And yeah, so that was all of these moments when I go to a place that's so different from what I was told through different forms of media or what people thought in other sides of the world. That's the most shocking.
It's some very, very beautiful lady should approach you, and he said, "What a beautiful man, what a smart man you are."
I said, thank you, that's so kind of you. My wife thinks so too.
And have you ever met an accident? Because traveling is prone to accidents.
Accidents? I've faced challenging situations. There's been some times where I was in the wrong place.
Where was that?
I was here on May 9th, 2023.
Okay.
Do you remember
Yes.
with the protests?
So you were in Lahore?
I got stuck in Islamabad.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a moment where I knew I was in the wrong place at the wrong time because the situation was tense.
Okay. Good.
But I don't look at, whenever I run into an encounter, some people would say, I would never go here, I would never do that again. But I just look at these moments as you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that just happened.